Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? We are back for another episode of the ABJ Podcast, episode 54 with the dude. Before we get into any of that, I just want to let you guys know that links below for all things ABJ as well as my guest. I think I got stuff from my guest. I think I reached out and he gave me links. He did not, so I have no links for my guest, but we'll get them at the end of the episode and we'll add them in. But I just want to double check that. So yes, so check out the links below for everything. New merchandise is out there. So real quick, I want to give a huge shout out to not just the logo designer Haley Stokes, but also logos by Hunter and Kai. The logos of Hunter and Kai have been our two members of my Discord who are absolutely mega stars, and they realized that my car's broke down. Times are tough right now. I'm not working. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm waiting for things to go for me, and they went out of their way and they made me so many logos. So if you see all these logos just being dumped into the merch pages, it's because they're trying to help me make a couple bucks by selling some merchandise here and there. And I appreciate them so goddamn much that they don't even know. But literally there's a variant of so many different wrestling promotions out there that you can get, as well as maybe some wrestling, so much wrestling inspired logos, and there's some pop culture ones in there. So go check them out. If you can grab a t-shirt, cool. If you get a t-shirt, make sure you check out the color selections, because there's different color selections. So you might see a shirt in black, but click on it and you'll see a few different color selections that are in there that you might like. TeePublic and Teespring are both available. Links in my bio. A lot of cool stuff, man. And if you need a logo, please hit up Logo by Hunter, Kai, and also Haley Stokes for all your logo needs. Without further ado, let's read. Without further ado, we're not bringing my guest in just yet. That's usually my guest line. But let's talk about Suplex, baby. Suplex. Guys, it's finally happened. A store dedicated to vintage wrestling. They said it can never be done, but they did it. And I've seen it with my own eyes. Suplex Vintage Wrestling is a store curated by wrestling fans for wrestling fans, located on 5th Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, just 1 block south of South Street in the heart of Queen Village. Their shop features the largest collection of vintage wrestling apparel under one roof. Their selection includes classic design features from your favorite wrestlers from the Golden Age, the Attitude Era, International, the Indies, and much more. And if you're tired of watching premium live events or pay-per-views at home alone, and you're in the Philadelphia area, man, SVW hosts the best watch parties since your friend Kyle's birthday party when you were 12 years old. And if shirts and watch parties aren't your thing, man, they got figures, they got belts, they got trading cards, and they have a little bit of everything when it comes to some of the rarest wrestling memorabilia ever. They have a bunch of video game systems playing there, so you can go in and play some No Mercy with some other customers and find out who the best, best on the sticks are. They got Super Nintendo going, they got N64, GameCube, PlayStation, SmackDown versus Raw, SmackDown Here, Shut Your Mouth. It's all playing back there. There's TVs with wrestling playing all over them. It's honestly the coolest place I've ever been in my life. And if you are a wrestling fan, you must experience it. So what are you waiting for? Check them out at suplex.svw on Instagram, or go check them out at suplexsvw.com and let them satisfy your wrestling nostalgia needs. All right. Love this sponsor, man. I'm super happy. I wear my special. So they had a special RVD shirt for 420. This is a limited run. There's not many left, so go get them while you can. But I figured, what better guest to wear my 420 inspired RVD shirt than probably the next generation of RVDs and someone who just gets high on life, we'll say. Without further ado, let's bring in my guy, your guy, the dude.
Well, is that it?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for doing this. I'm very excited about this. We talked a little bit off camera about just how, like, we kind of just randomly met each other. We're cool, but I don't really know much about you when it comes to like you as a person. And this is where I feel this podcast stands out, because I'm very fortunate that wrestlers are willing to maybe drop a little bit of their barriers and talk to the audience and give them that inside view. And that's, I think that's what sets the ABJ podcast apart from the others. And I appreciate all of you having that faith and confidence in me to do so. So, yeah, man, I got to say too, we were talking about on the podcast about longevity in this career and how bumps and craziness just really cut back on people's time in this business when it comes to injuries and everything. Minus you headbutting a turnbuckle, a corner post, and splitting yourself wide open. You have a style in this business that you're going to be able to do this for a very long time. And I don't mean
Thank
that
you.
in a negative way. Like, you're not out there doing 450s and suicide dives, and you play to your character, you play to a crowd, and you do the things that you need to do very well to be entertaining.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. It's crazy because I find like the like more wilder things I do, like it gets over. So it's like how don't I do it? And it's like when I try to go out and kind of like wrestle and show my ability, people kind of they enjoy it, but they're like, "Well, what are you gonna do? Like, what's the next crazy thing you're gonna do?" So I
Yeah.
take it. I run with it. And I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you having me on first off,
No
and
problem,
I
man.
appreciate everything you do. Like giving everybody a platform to just let them be themselves. So I really do appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys all for coming on. If I didn't have people who are willing to come talk to me, this would be nothing. So, the credit goes to everyone who's willing to be here. So man, when did you get into this crazy thing, professional wrestling? What's your earliest memory of catching it on TV or whatever it may be, that you caught this bug?
Dude's a '90s baby, so the dude. Ever since he was a little dude, he was a huge wrestling fan. So like it just came natural to him. Like I just remember, I think my first memory was just Shawn Michaels. That was definitely my favorite wrestler.
Great
Still
pick.
to
Not
this
a lot of
day.
love with the newer generation
Yeah.
with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I remember growing up when he kind of became the Heartbreak Kid, and like just watching him, I was just like amazed, like how he just stole the show, just like how he was as a person, like his persona, and I was just like gravitated right towards him. Good morning, dude. That's a long way away. But
all the way across. They're
yeah.
actually upside down right now. They're hanging on.
Oh, maybe I'm upside down now. Oh, I'm all confused.
Now, was wrestling a big part of your household? Like, were your parents or your siblings or whatever the situation was the family involved in wrestling that it was just
Yeah.
on for you to consume it?
Oh yeah, dude had an older brother, and that's how he got introduced. So I remember the Monday Night Wars. We would flip back and forth. So whatever he started with, we just kind of kept going with. But that was like my earliest memories, like watching like events with him, pay-per-views. We'd go over friends' houses and stuff. Like, so I was just a huge fan growing up, and we used to have pool federations and like just beat each other up all the time. We were just typical boys.
Now, where are you based out of?
I'm from Scranton,
Okay, so you're
PA.
from the Wilkes-Barre Scranton area. Okay. Now,
Yep.
were you ever introduced or find out about the independent wrestling scene in the area?
Not until I started my training, honestly.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, Backbreakers was my first indie show ever, and it was like I worked it, and like just being behind the scenes, like it. I was already in training, so it just kind of got the juices flowing a little bit more, and I was like, this is probably one of the coolest things ever. And honestly, I think my first show ever was when Gangrel was there and he wrestled Kit. I was like, oh, this is like the coolest thing ever.
Gangrel took a full hard back bump on the floor on the outside on the hardwood floor and didn't even have to. He didn't even have to.
I know. That's crazy. I was like, oh, that's like wild.
A legend. Now, how did you transition from that lifelong fan to then finding Backbreakers and then getting into the training aspect of things?
Well, the dude found it by having a magical mushroom on his pizza and just woke up there. But yeah, me personally, I was just like, even when I started training, like I did go to some events and like just going to them, like it just hooked me. Like, like the crowd, the adrenaline, like I tell my friends and my family members like all the time, like this is the one place like they want you to boo the bad guy and cheer the good guy. So like you could just go as wild as you want sometimes. Well, sometimes within like reason, but like just like the adrenaline and just like just the aura and the electricity in the crowd. Like, I didn't truly understand what like The Rock and everybody would mean until I went to one, and I was just like, yeah, I think I want to do this.
Yeah.
So I just kind of found my way to backbreakers, and they just kept me ever since.
Now, were you like an athlete growing up, like into sports or anything like that before you entered your training?
Yeah. Yeah, we were a huge sports family. We were always kind of like on the go. Like, there was 4 of us in total, so we're always like out and about doing sports, or like,
What did you play?
I had a sister. Yeah, just random stuff.
Like, what sports were you involved in?
Baseball, basketball. When I was younger, like football and soccer, but like never really like kind of baseball and basketball kind of took over after that.
Okay. So you came into wrestling training kind of having that experience of what a 2 a day or a 3 a day or running at a practice would be. I think that means something. I really do. I think if you experience like football 3 days or basketball 3 days or soccer 3 days, and then you go to a wrestling school, I don't think it equates, but I think mentally you're like, okay, I know going into this, they're going to kick the shit out of me and they're going to make me run till I die. You know what I mean? But if you've never experienced that growing up in played sports, I feel like, and you're just like, I watched this on TV and now I want to try it. You're like, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? Like, why are they so mean to me?
Yeah, and then like, you don't want to be one of those that's like, oh, I saw it, so I think I could do it, and I played sports, like, you know, and it definitely helped, but like, honestly, it humbled me, because like, I just didn't pick it up right away, and it just like teaching you to fall, like you're just beating your ass up, like you're just getting destroyed, and like, there were days where I'm just like, what am I doing? But like, just kept pushing through. I remember after the Gangrel show, I talked to Kit, and he told me like, hey, you're going to have days where like, you're like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But just keep pushing through. So like, and that sports background kind of helped me, because I'm like, all right, there's going to be the bad days and there's going to be the low days, and there are, but then like, when I finally debuted and like the highs, oh man, it's just like, it's an incredible adrenaline rush that like I can't even explain, honestly. Yeah. It's just a high I chase every time.
Now, how much into your training of, you know, getting the basics down and doing that you decided like, hey, the dude is born? Like how did the dude come about, and what inspired what made you create the dude?
The dude was like organic, to be honest with you. Like,
I mean, you have a look for it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. At first, so I was always like, when I took my bumps and when I first started training, like I just never got the hang of like get up and like keep going. Like I would just kind of take my bump or do something and look and be like, hey, did I do it right? And like, I just never had any personality, and like, that's why I was like real quiet and shy and everything. And like, I was just really concentrated on like what I was doing in the ring, because like I always took that serious. Like, it's like a dance. Like, you're in there with someone, like you might not like them, you might like them, but at the end of the day, like they got a family too. Like, you both want to go home and see your family, so you don't want to hurt them and put them in the hospital for the end of their whole life. But like, so I always took that part serious, and I always just like concentrate on what I was doing. I'm like, everything else will come, and it just organically came. Like, eventually I just broke out of my shell, and like, they started calling me Frat Jesus for a bit, like, because of the look and everything, and then it just kind of
happened to me too.
Snowballed from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how inspired by the dude from the Big Lebowski are you for your character? Like, now is the dude essentially you just turned up to 11? Is it pop culture references? Like, where did you derive from to create this character?
I get that question a lot with the Big Lebowski, and honestly, it has nothing to do with the Big Lebowski. Like,
that's really upsetting.
I know. I get the same answer from everyone too. But yeah, like I just, it came organically. Like, that was just me now. Just like, I wouldn't even say 11. Like, it's up to like 1,000 sometimes.
So you would consider yourself like a hippie kid, and like.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like had the mellow like vibe to me, like never too high, never too low, just kind of always like I wasn't always like that. I was actually like real energetic and like outbursted, and then I just kind of like as I grew older, I was like I can't be acting like that, like
Yeah.
I
I
like
hope
a
that
little
happens to me
snotty
soon.
kid.
I gotta slow
Yeah.
down. I'm always up to 13. I wish I can just chill and keep my mouth shut and walk into a room and not have to feel like I have to entertain everybody for some reason. I don't know why my brain goes there. Yeah. So how long into your training before you got your first match or you got to experience that debut?
My training was like really weird because I started right before the COVID shutdown happened. Like
Mhm.
I want to say I started that March or like February, and then it shut down. I think whenever it shut down, so I think I got like maybe like 3 months in or so at the very very beginning. So then once they reopened, like a year later, whatever it was, because of the COVID and everything, I was essentially kind of like restarting because like like I could only do so much at the house. Like I can't
Yeah.
like
Well, that was my
you
that was
know
gonna be my question here. What did you do during the pandemic to stay fresh or to keep your mind still on wrestling?
I just watched a lot of the like old school tape. I just watched like as much wrestling as I could possibly get my hands on. I tried to stay in shape. Like I didn't try to gain any weight. As soon as like I was able to, I started going back to the gym. I was kind of practicing my punches and everything like that. Stuff that I can work on, I did, but like the bumps and everything like that, like I still was like that's kind of where I was at when we stopped. So it wasn't like there was much I can practice.
Mhm.
So like I didn't want to get bad habits too by like practicing like stuff that wasn't right. So I just kind of just staying in shape and just being a student of the game and just like watching as much tape and film and as much wrestling as I possibly could.
Who are some people that you watched to maybe help build your character or your crowd work?
Um, The Rock, to be honest, The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan. Uh, Weirdly enough,
If you don't say "dude love," I'm
the
kicking you out of this.
I definitely was a huge Dude Love fan, but
I
like
love dude
crowd
love.
work, like I watched The Miz a lot.
Yeah.
Like he's just so underrated for like how he could just create like control the crowd. So like that's where like I just was like, all right, like let me see how he does and how he interacts with people, and like he's just amazing. I think in my
Yeah.
books.
Gavin in the chat says, "Dude, I wore my tie-dyed shirt to school for 70s week. It was so big, I tucked it into my socks."
Oh, think that was I think that's your dress then, huh? Nice little tie-dye dress. Nothing wrong with that, dude.
I'll tell you what, I had an opportunity to go to a Monday Night Raw not too long ago, and The Miz and Johnny Gargano wrestled, and they got like the heavy commercial break match where every time they kept going to commercial. And it was really cool to see, especially someone like Miz and Gargano, but Miz really taking control and being like, "Hey, you're on commercial." Like they would give him that cue, like you're in commercial, and then immediately he'd go right to crowd work. Because when you
Yeah,
watch The Miz on TV, he's mostly in match work. But as soon as they tell
yeah,
them that they're either on commercial break, they immediately start working the crowd. So by the time that the crowd comes back from commercial, the crowd's hot and they're feeding into the match again. And that's where The Miz is real. And then watching it back later, like the crowd stayed active the whole time, and it was because every single time the Miz and Johnny was just doing the special like go in the corner, and when he'd raise, everybody would boo, and then he'd point at Johnny and they would go
mhm,
yeah, and he'd go me, and they go boo, and then yeah, and just simple stuff, and it just kept carrying over, and that small stuff is just so vital. But
it really is.
yeah. Now another thing with you too is like I feel like one thing that maybe not missing, but like if you look at some of the people on the indie scene or in just wrestling in general that have they're heavily character influenced, like somebody like you are. And I'll use the example like Abs or Stan Styles or I'm trying to think of another one who's very character driven. There are two examples I can just use, but Abs is like, okay, I have my gimmick, it's my abs, it's my belly. But I also like there's two or three things, and it's like if you see my match, you're getting those two. That's the greatest hits. You're getting those greatest hit moments where that's my go-to thing. That if I do it, the crowd realizes is why. That's the thing, and then if they play into it, like Stan does the pant rip, and he does the whipped cream spot, and then like what or like does the whipped cream in the mouth stunner. You know what I mean? You're still like I said very early, like you have a few of those things but not like something you call to every single match, which is fun and it's fine. But like on commentary, like you do keep it very very fresh. But is there stuff that you're still working on of like what those essentially your signatures can be that you're going to try to bust out more or less more often to kind of get the crowd like oh, if the dude's coming, wait till you see what he does here, you know what I mean, like that moment.
Yeah, the dude's been playing around with a few things. Like right now, I brought out gummies.
I think that's a fun move. It's a fun move.
Yeah, people are popping for that right now. So I'm just kind of staying around with that. And then you can kind of playing off of that.
You could do gummies, you could do brownies, you can do like anything like that. Like it changes all the time. I know you first started about the pen. The pen was your first bit. You're always looking for your pen.
I was looking for a certain pen, which I still never found. So if people are out there and they find my pen, just let me know. You'll know it exactly when you see it.
There you go. Rob Chase's burglar gimmick, another very good one too on the scene. So anything else? What else? Like, is there something else that you kind of are cooking up or thinking about trying?
Personally, not right now. I've kind of just playing off of the gummies and kind of like seeing what I could do with that and kind of like just kind of see how long I could go with it. I don't want to bleed it dry or whatever, but I just kind of want to try to see how creative I could be with like using the gummies and whatever, how many different spots or whatever I can do off of that. So for right now, I think I'm doing the gummy spot, and then, let's start brainstorming for something else.
So here's my only feedback, and I kind of gave this a little bit at the sanctuary. I think when it comes to any type of reference to things during a wrestling match, I think you should be impervious to it. I don't think it should work on you. So like, if you eat a gummy and they eat a gummy, they are destroyed. And you're just like, I could eat more, dude. You know what I mean? Like you're invincible to it. It just has zero effect on you. Like you're in that zone at all times. So when you do the gummy spot, your opponent is just like, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be the only thing. Because I think if you get to the same level as they get, that's where you lose your, I guess, in the ring, your one-up advantage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And the dude has a really good, strong tolerance. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That should be the bit. Another good thing that you could do with the sanctuary is that when the smoke goes off, you just go over and just like.
I never thought of that, but you might see that Friday now. Who knows?
Yeah. I think that'd be another funny thing. Yeah, and I would think the only other thing too is just like try to find a move or two that I think that would like that you attach yourself to, that you bust out more or less every match you do of like, oh, this is the dude spot. You know what I mean? Whether it be like a DDT or just something silly, like I don't know, like Orange Cassidy has the leg kicks. You know what I mean? Like I think a good strong character has those like two or three things in a match that you kind of almost anticipate, and it never gets old because they're so good at what they do with it. You know?
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that's
still.
Yeah, and there's no rush, but I'm just saying I think that's the one key thing you're missing, because like for how young and new to this you are, your character work is bar none. Like you do a very good job at having that confidence and the you know what I mean, and we kind of talked a little camera, you're extroverted, you know what I mean, like you're someone who like kind of keeps to themselves, so when you hit that curtain and you turn into the dude, that all looks like it's completely like doesn't look like a factor to you at all. Like you just take the crowd. You never look flustered or frazzled. Like you do a very good job of controlling a crowd, which is very hard. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with first as a professional wrestler, because they want to work on the in-ring technical stuff first.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, that's kind of how I was. And I appreciate everything you just said. Those are very kind words. And that's kind of how I was at the beginning. Like, hey, did I take my bump right? Like, I'm just standing here, like, laying on my back, like, looking at you like a dead fish. Like, you know, like, does it look right, though? Like, that's kind of how I was. And then my technicality. And then, honestly, it wasn't until Molson came in and helped train that, like, my character and, like, my in-ring and, like, all that stuff kind of started to click. Like, he really helped me along with the, like, building my character and like helping me with like crowd work and stuff like that. Like I remember he just would like that he was really big on like, hey, you don't have to go out and do all these 360s, 180s, 550s, because I can't do that stuff. He's like, sometimes it's just keep it simple and it goes over. And I'm like, it just stuck with me. So, and it's honestly the truth, because when I do go out there and I do try to, you know, get a little fancy, it doesn't get as over as like if I pull the gummies out. So
yeah, absolutely. You find that balance. And like I said, like Cassidy is low key one of the best wrestlers in the world, but he also leans into his gimmick. And then when he breaks that gimmick down, then he starts going. Eventually you can get to that point where you start like where you can go and where those technical aspects you do meet, because you're still young in the game and you get really good at those other things. You already have that character base there, or you already have them. And then you showing that you can showcase and do train wrestling or this or that and this, they're like, whoa, wait a second. Like, where did this come from? You know what I mean? And that's just another element of you that you can bring out at some point in time later. Here's a question. I don't know the answer to this, and I've called your matches. What is your finishing move?
Like,
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Move or like
like
name?
the actual.
I do the Claymore kick. I call it the peace out.
Okay. I don't think I've ever seen you land it, but now that I know to look for it, that's your finisher.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who was your first match?
My first match technically was Nathaniel Cunningham.
Yeah. At High Ground?
No, I actually did that at Triple WA.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a random Saturday, and Nathaniel and Molson were going down, and they're like, hey, do you just want to come? And I was like, sure. I found my way onto the card somehow against Nathaniel, and that was my first match.
Yeah, I think what helps your crew of that young talent that came from the Backbreakers High Ground training facilities, I think what makes you guys stand out is like, I think if I'm being, and I'm not saying this to be negative, but like if you weren't the dude and you were just like Jesse, the long-haired guy who went out there and wrestled, like I don't know how many bookings you would get. You know what I mean? Because you're still new and you don't have like, you know what I mean, you know your weakness are, and you know where your strengths are. But if you were just Jesse, the guy who didn't have a character and then try to go, and I'm not saying Jesse's his real name, I'm just putting it out there, but like I don't think you would get as many bookings. But like I think being the dude and you're like, hey, listen, like I'm still new, but like I'm gonna work the crowd. We could put something together, and a lot of veterans and people in the business are gonna be like, oh my god, I get to work the dude. Bro, this is gonna be fun time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't gotta go crazy. You don't gotta go crazy. We're gonna play to the crowd. I think every single person in the locker room, whether it be a veteran, whether it be a top guy, a mid guy, a new guy, I just think that characters is something like people would look forward to, and you put it in the right spot of the card, it's gonna shine.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that, and yeah, for sure. Because honestly, if I wasn't the dude, I don't know neither. Like. Because, like, I just feel like, too, he's just so different. Like, I don't even know how to explain them because, like, if you hear hippie, you just think, like, oh, okay, laid back, 420 coming out, stoned, like, all chilled. But then, like, once you hear the music and then you actually see me, like, I'm kind of the complete opposite. I'm, like, in your face, like, exuberant all over the place. So, like,
yeah, you're like a high energy hippie.
Yeah, for sure.
It should be a t-shirt.
High off life.
Yeah, it should be the high energy hippie or something like that. The dude.
I like that.
Yeah. Or hold on. The high energy. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I'm trying to do a play on words where it's like that thing, but it's still like maybe THC. Like,
gotcha.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'd be a lot of fun, and then that could be like another gimmick thing. But anyway, yeah. Now my brain's trying to rack the other thing. Who are some people that you have worked with are a match that you had where you felt like it really clicked and you felt like you've taken yourself to another level because that match kind of you pick things up that maybe they were the missing pieces to maybe just a confidence boost or how to put something together that you didn't know you can do?
I think the one that stands out first is my match with MIT. I wrestled them at High Grounds Pro Wrestling, their last show. And I don't know. I didn't have any expectations. Like, MIT is a really good worker, and I was really excited to work him. But, like, I just didn't know exactly how. Like, it was my first kind of, like, big match, I guess. Like stepping out of my comfort zone. And, like, I know he was more, like, aerial based and, like, really fast and agility. And I was like, okay, like I'm kind of used to gimmicking and like doing some stuff and like a few things here and there. Like, I think he's going to test me tonight. So like, I was kind of really excited once we did find out. And I think we had a really good match, and I'd run it back with him anytime. Mm-hmm. And I had one with Hawthorne too. I think there was another one. That was another one that kind of really clicked too. And I don't think we had the best match we can ever have, but I think we had a really good match, and we could definitely go out there and like just crush it. I think I'd run that one back anytime too.
Yeah. Is there anyone on the scene right now that you're looking at and you're like, man, I really want to work that person because you think you can put something together that'd be fun with?
There's so many people, honestly. I like working all my friends. Like, I'd like to work Nathaniel again and like Donnie and all of them. I never worked Damon or MJ Stack, so I think that'd be fun to do. But honestly, I can name like a bunch of people, like Mike Skyros, Kit Raff, Rex Taylor, I think would be fun. Abs, I was in a gauntlet match, I think, with Abs. I think that'd be a fun one.
Oh, yeah, the gauntlet, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a scramble, I think, or something. I was in
who'd be a fun one to wrestle, just because he kind of, it would be a fun dynamic, especially with your bits. Philly Mike.
Yeah.
Like, if you and Philly Mike had a match and then you gave Philly Mike a gummy and it had no effect on him either, he's like,
yeah, for another one, like that'd be great.
He's like 3 more, and then he's like, wait, and then he pulls out his own gummies and feeds them to you, and then you're like, whoa, dude.
Oh yeah, like that'd be fun. Like,
outdude by Philly Mike.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. And it's like stuff like that too. Like, I think. Like, my mind automatically goes. If we ever get
Trajan back, you and Trajan would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah, there's a bunch of people out there. Honestly, like, I'm trying to work as much as possible and whoever, but they're like, the list is just so many. There's so many good talent around here.
Being a talent who really relies on the gimmick side of things and the putting together a match like a Kit Raff MIT or an MIT and Ricky Price is different than a dude match. You know what I mean? But like when someone works you, they know they're working the dude, right? But you're also still so new to the game that like is it daunting at all to kind of come into a match and like they have to like kind of more play to your style because like you're that, like when you're booked together, I feel, just from my point of view, whoever works you has to play to the character. That's just pro wrestling, right? So you can be this, but if you're wrestling the dude, you got to get your shit in. You know what I'm saying? But you're also young and humble and don't want to be like, well, hey man, this is kind of what I like. Is that daunting? Does that ever get to you where you're like, you're still not maybe at a point where you feel like a veteran might not respond to it, or people might not want to work that style of match, and then you have to adapt to them and you have to kind of not do your character, but your whole time you're trying to build this character? Like, have you ever had any experiences like that?
Not really. I've been really lucky in that sense. Like, everybody I've kind of gotten to work has kind of really been excited to kind of, like, they come up with stuff, because like, I think in this industry, like, everyone takes it so serious and everything's so serious that when they get a chance to kind of be goofy, they get to have fun with it. So like, sometimes I like to see that, and like, I get excited about it, because like, you know, like, I get nervous because, like you said, like, I still am so new and so green that like I still get so super nervous, like,
and they're banking on you to kind of put it together, because they're like, hey, your character's the A character here. I have to feed off you, and then you're still new and figuring things out, and you're like, shit, I have to kind of take control here, and I'm still not up. You know what I mean? Like, that's not easy to put a match together and be the one to kind of be in the driver's seat of it, you know?
Yeah. I just, like I said, like, I just been lucky because everybody that I got to work with, like, they've been super nice, and like, everything's just kind of flowed. Like, they've just been excited. Like, I can probably name like a few matches off the top of my head, like, that I'm like maybe the chemistry wasn't there, maybe the night was off, like, you know, so like, it wasn't the best, but like, I just been so lucky with everybody that I got to be in the ring with, that they've just like been excited, and they just been grateful, like, just been so nice to me about it. So I've just been lucky on that sense.
Yeah. Stan Styles is probably one of my favorite ones that you recently did. I thought that was good, just a kind of stylistic matchup. Ian says in the chat, rematch the turnbuckle.
I think I'm gonna have to face that pole one day, face my fears. He's another one. Ricky Price is another one I'd like to run back to, because I felt like we had such great chemistry.
It was a good match.
Of course, that happened. Yeah,
it was going well.
It really was.
Yeah.
I
was so bummed for you. Yo, I want to talk. I don't know if Molson ever listens to my podcast, but I'm fucking making fun of him a little bit here. Real quick, Donnie said it was so easy being heel working the dude. I remember you backstage, and they just like put a bandage on your head. And you're like, we're gonna take you for stitches. And I remember Molson saying, make sure you take your boots off if you're going to the hospital, because they'll cut your boots off. And I go, he's a cut on his head. Why does he have to take his shoes off? I was like, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I remember just looking at him like, did you just say, make sure you take your shoes off? I was like, yeah, he's going to get stitches. I'm not going to be like, excuse me, sir, we got to cut your shoes off to give you stitches on your forehead.
At the same time, stuff like that, why I love Molson too, because he's just like, just so old school and in that mindset that I'm just like, wait, what? Like, am I concussed? Like, did I hear you correctly?
He said that. I was just like, it's the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life, my guy.
Yeah, but honestly, he was one of the most like, he's helped me with like my career, because like I said, like the actual character development, he helped me with that so much. Like, he, like, the in-ring, like, what to do, like, even after matches, like, he's like one of the first people, like, I ask, like, honestly, like, hey, honest opinion, what do you, because like, I can't get better if everyone just keeps saying like, hey, yeah, no, it was good. Like, yeah. if like I didn't do something good, even if it's the smallest thing, I want to know, because I want to get better regardless.
Yeah, honestly, man, like, I think sometimes people might think I'm being mean if I like, because if people do ask me for critiques on matches and people send me stuff, and it's not because I never trained, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but like, I do commentate a lot, and I do watch a lot, and I consume a lot, but also like I learned very, very early, I learned this at Camp Leapfrog, and I think the person who really put it over to me like that was Green Ant. And I remember he didn't have a bad match, but it wasn't his best. And he came up to me, he's like, "What'd you think?" And I was like, "No, it was good, man." And he's like, "All right, listen, I'm gonna tell you something right now." He's like, "The best thing you can do for a wrestler is not bullshit them. Because we know when we have a bad match, and when someone comes to you, they're not doing it because they want you to gaslight them, and they don't want you to tell them everything they want to hear at that moment. They're coming to you because they trust you, they think you're honest, and they kind of want you to find the one or two things that they can do better. You know what I mean? And they're not going to take offense to it. And I thought to myself, like, here's Green Ant, who's been in this a long time, and he's kind of telling me that. And I was like, and I kept it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I for people out there listening, it's good to be honest and critique, and it's okay to say something wasn't great, but also look at it like it's not easy what they do out there, and there's a way you can go about doing it without being an asshole about it as well. You know what I mean? Like that match was the drizzling shits, you piece of shit, you should quit. Like, you don't need to do any of that. If anyone has any questions for the dude in the chat, get them ready. We are at the 45-minute mark, so that hour is creeping up. But the dude, you know, I had, speaking of Donnie in here, the Don himself, Donnie Bambino, is in here. We played a little game. We had a little bit of a draft, and we picked our favorite mob movies. And I thought to myself, the dude is here. We're going to do a 3-round draft. I'm going to delegate to you first round pick, and we're going to do our favorite stoner movies. So drug/stoner related movies. 3 picks back and forth. You get first round pick. Go first.
Well, I think my first round pick has to be Dude, Where's My Car? Like,
okay. Great pick. I would have went somewhere else, but I like it. I'm gonna go with Dave Chappelle's debut, Half Baked, is my number 1 pick.
That's a good one though too. They're all good. Like,
there's a lot of good ones out there. All right, you're up.
I watched a lot of them. My second one. This might not be a popular one, but I swear to God, every time I watch it, it makes me laugh so much. Grandma's Boy. I love Grandma's Boy.
That's a great pick. What a good pick, bro. For some reason, that didn't even register in my brain as a pick. Holy shit, Grandma's Boy.
I love Grandma's Boy. That was probably one of my favorite movies growing up. Like, just like the nonsense in that was just ridiculous.
All right, if I don't pick, this could have been my number 1 pick, but I felt like Half Baked is one that is more people know about and talk about, so I felt like I was going to lose it. And this one sometimes flies under the radar, but if you talk about a drug movie, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is going to be my number 2.
Oh my God.
We were just outside of Barstow when the drugs kicked in.
Oh, what a classic, dude. That is a great pick. Oh, so what are we on? Third one?
Third and final pick.
Third one.
I'm so terrified you're going to say my pick.
Yeah, I probably am, because
I'm not going to look at you. Like I don't want to channel my energy to you.
I feel like there's not too many, but honestly, I'm gonna take this in a different note. I'm gonna take a little bit of a serious route. I like Savages. If you ever saw Savages,
I've never seen Savages.
It's about like they're like 2 pot dealers in like California, and like they bang like the same chick, and then she gets caught by like the cartel, and then they just go like try to rescue her. Like, it's one of those movies that's supposed to be like super serious, but like, I don't know, I don't take it super serious, and like it's just like action packed and like crazy, and I don't know. I have a fun time every time I watch it.
Well, my pick is safe, and there's so many we missed. So listen, don't judge us if we didn't say your favorite. My honorable mention, I'll put an honorable mention out because it's one of my favorites, is How High with Redman and Method Man. Great story.
That was a classic. I figured that might be the one you picked, so I was like, I'll leave that
the pick, though. That's not the pick.
Okay.
My actual pick is gonna be Friday.
Oh, that's a good one too.
That is that. So there it is. There's our 3 rounds. Gotta close my door quick because my dog decided she was gonna get out. It's not a back scratcher. It's my door closer.
I like that, dude.
Yeah.
Way to be innovative.
It is also a back scratcher. But there it is. There's our 3 stoner movies. I think they're all good picks. Man, fuck. Now I want to go watch some movies. So what are some future plans for the dude? What do you want to get done in this business? Some places maybe you want to work, just overall goals when it comes to the next steps for you.
Well, I think the dude wants to take like the next step, whatever it is. Like, I kind of don't know. Like, my goal pretty much for the year is just to work as much as possible. It was any federation, any match, anybody, honestly. Like, I'm just trying to get better. So I feel like right now with more reps under my belt, like the better I could get. So right now I'm just trying to get as many matches as possible, and then from there make as many good matches as possible. So that's kind of like my goals for right now. And I feel like if I do that and just kind of keep working and keep grinding, like everything else will work itself out. So, hopefully I make it to, Impact or AEW or something like that. That'd be really cool. But if it don't happen, it's not the end of the world. I'm just going to try to put as much energy and effort I can into this and see what happens.
Absolutely. Donnie Bambino says, what's your favorite story on the road? Because we have many. Remember incrimination because you are on the internet, just putting it out there.
I think it has to be our last one we just took. Someone's missing a muffler right now. That was very interesting and fun. But our last Triple WA show we were going to, we all carpooled, me, Donnie, and Nathaniel, and Damon. I think Damon was there. I believe so. Dude doesn't have the best memory, but as we were going down, Donnie lost his muffler. Like 20 minutes away. We're like, oh, no.
And in the wrestling business, losing your muffler can mean something completely different.
I heard it's cost him do
you know what a muffler is in wrestling?
No.
So a muffler is an old school thing. Dusty Rhodes is kind of synonymous for it, but it's when bigger guys used to take rolls of toilet paper and stick it in their underwear to soak up swamp ass.
Yeah.
and Dusty Rhodes lost his muffler in a match. So just sweaty, gross toilet paper fell out of his trunks.
Yeah. So to be clear, it was his car muffler. We lost the car muffler heading down to the show. It was about 6 feet of the muffler. Like, it was the pipe and everything.
Yeah. The dude doesn't have the best memory. It was 2 weeks ago. LOL. I love this guy. Those
gummies, dude.
Yeah, those gummies.
Jinx.
Like I said, last opportunity for you guys to get some questions in before we wrap up. Where can people find you on social media, merch, anything like that? And also, where's the next show people can see you?
The dude doesn't really have many social media links, so I'm just kind of on Instagram at the dude 42091. That was his birthday. It was just passed. It's a great birthday. And then I'm also on Facebook as, wow, that's an awesome sticker, dude. I'm also on Facebook at TD Dudley. The dude does have a name, so he had to put it into Facebook to be an actual person. So
yeah, that's why I have to make a like
TD
page.
Dudley.
I have to make a like page.
Yeah. I wanted to, but I was like, I just make a full person. Screw it.
Yeah. We got to get the dude merch out there. We need to push that. Get you some stuff. Get you some dude t-shirts and maybe.
The dude's the worst at that.
Yeah,
he just got evicted. So.
Yeah, so that's the thing too. That's a question. So if a lot of people are following the dude since the battle Backbreakers days, your kind of character was essentially you just started living at the training center, and then you were kicked out of the training center, and you're like you're everyone's in there doing squats in the ring, and you're outside in the street and you're doing them through the window. So like, who came up with the idea to shoot those vignettes and kind of help you along with that?
That was me actually.
Oh, yeah?
I thought of that. Yeah. I have fun with it. So like, I just think of like some stuff sometimes, some crazy stuff, and like, I just give it a try and see what happens. So like, I just like to be creative with
shooting
it.
those little vignettes and promos that's just to put out on social media are a lot of fun. I want to start doing more. I'm gonna be honest. I want to go to shows. Like I know I shot a couple with Ricky, and a few other people, but like I want to do more of those. Like I think it's really fun to have those collaborations, even if it doesn't boost a match. You just put it out there to boost your character, or just to have a fun little spot. I'm gonna start challenging myself to do more and have little vignettes and stuff like that. So but yeah, they are really cool. But well, I have one more thing that I'll let Hunter do here, and then I have one more question I have in closing, unless anybody else puts one. But if you could write a younger letter to younger dude, what would it say?
It would probably just say, stay humble, stay hungry, and stay patient, because good things happen to people that are positive, and positive outcomes or positive thoughts or positive outcomes. So just keep grinding, keep your head up, and yeah, that'd be pretty much it.
How crazy is the dude's stuff?
The dude's got the greatest stuff around, so might have to try it sometime, pal.
He might have already had to try it during a stampede. But you can check the dude out this Friday at Cinco de Mayo at the Sanctuary. The cool thing about those shows is nobody knows who they're working until they get there that night, and it makes for a fun night. But I'll be on commentary. If you're in the area, please come out. Honestly, the best way to experience Sanctuary is live. Come out, support, get loud, get crazy. Maybe the dude will feed you some gummies. Maybe I'll eat a few of them and then try commentary. It's gonna be a whole ordeal. But make sure you come out. If you cannot make it because you don't live around the Hazleton or in Pennsylvania, we're always live on YouTube. So make sure you go over Sanctuary PATV on YouTube. Watch live chat. We are starting something this season. We did a little bit of it last season, but we're really gonna lean into it. But we're gonna do interactive commentary. So I not only call the matches, but I also interact with the live chat while people are watching matches, so we can kind of have that, let you guys feel like you're part of the show. So please come hang out with us live this Friday night, when about 8:00 when it goes live for the Sanctuary on YouTube. But that's it, man. Oh, the last thing I wanted to talk about, unless anyone has anything during this time, but I've said it before on the Donnie interview. I said it with Nathaniel. I've said it with Shelby. I've said it with Damien. I said it with Ricky. How important has it been for you to have that bond and have that team of just brothers and sisters in this business, and you guys all kind of be that younger crowd who you guys are sticking to each other, and I really love that, and you're supporting each other and you're keeping yourself strong. But how important and vital has that been to your growth or your development in this wrestling business?
I think it's been huge, honestly. Like the support that like we give each other, and like just like it's crazy. Like I never thought, like, I was always part of teams, so like I'm kind of used to it, but I just never thought, like, coming into the business like this, like I'd meet like one person that I'd really get along with, never mind like a whole 5 or 7 of them, like that's like my family. So like it's very important because we just bounce ideas off of each other, we practice with each other, like we just try to just make sure like we're always like on the same path, and like just try to motivate each other and keep each other's spirits good when they're down. Like, cause this industry just could like beat you up, like just physically and mentally. Like, you think maybe you go out there and you thought maybe like you just had the crappiest match of your life, which I do a lot. And then like for them to be there and kind of bring you back down to like, normalness, like it's speechless. Like I can't describe how, like, I'm very lucky to have like a group like that, because I don't think it's common, especially like in normal life, never mind in this business. So I just consider myself very lucky with them and everybody else I train with.
Yeah. There it is. The boys are unstoppable together. Like I said, I'm very happy with you guys. Like I said, I really look forward to like you and that next crew at the sanctuary to tussle more, because I think it's really cool that you guys are like motivating each other. And I feel the same thing, man. Like, it's been every time I feel like I'm down or something like that, or if someone sees it, they're just like, "Yo, you good, man?" Like Damien reached out to me today because he's seen my Facebook post of me just being like a little whiny baby today, but like, "Yo, man, you good? You need to talk." So I love that, man, and I hope you guys never lose that, and you guys keep it together. Like I said, you guys are the best. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate everything. Like I said, no links below for the dude, but we will get them out there. We're gonna get this guy some merch and get him going, but support him on social medias, the one he gave, and we'll see you guys soon. Oh, we did get some stuff pop in. The dude has a TOP jersey.
The dude does actually.
Oh yeah,
the dude does. Yeah, I want to break it out real soon. Like, it's really nice.
What number are you?
Waiting. 00.
You should have won 420. This is the thing we talk about all the time, inside and outside the ropes. Yep. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for doing this. Make sure you guys tune in this Thursday at 7:00 with Ed House. That's going to be a really, really exciting one. Huge thank you again to my sponsor, SVW. Just to close out, I don't know if I did it last episode. I probably didn't, so I apologize. But Elevation 1470 is reinventing the style by bringing traditional and nostalgic apparel to Frackville and the surrounding areas of Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. They pride themselves on hometown heritage and community. Elevation 1470 is where the trail begins. You can find them at elevation1470.com to find the latest in traditional nostalgic clothing of Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. I'm rocking my beanie right now. I always wear my Schuylkill Mall shirt. It's literally someone who's so passionate about his local town and our local community, and they make merchandise because we have all these little cool things that people don't know what they mean or what they stand for, but it makes us in this small little community feel great. But so make sure you check out my sponsors as well as High Tension Wrestling below. Follow them on social media, show them some love, lots of great stuff. They've been posting a lot of our interviews on their side of things. So yeah, show the support to all the sponsors. They help keep the lights on. They help this journey keep growing, because it's not easy, especially being unemployed. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Here's some music by the Converse Kid, Billy Trey. We're out of here.